Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne here to do your What's Cracking reading. But before I go any further, for those of you who said, what is the deck you're using? It's beautiful. It's the Black and Gold Tarot. It is a limited edition. I don't think it was very cheap, but then it wasn't overly expensive either. So if you're looking out for that, that's what it looks like. So it comes in a black and gold box. So we're going to use those cards this morning. Now, is there anything else I need to talk about? Obviously, thank you, because that's always my highlight of my day, saying a big thank you to you all for your support. If you've gone over and supported the Aussie Goddess Astro Tarot, thank you over there too. I do have a podcast on Buzzsprout. Well, I actually have two on there now, and I do intend doing more. So if you're interested in just an audio reading, you can go over there and watch or listen to the podcasts on there. Anything else? No? All right, we'll get going. Still a number of things in the sort of pot boiling, but I haven't quite got around to them yet, but I will. Just had a bit of a bad run into the new year, but I'm feeling really good now, so hopefully things will be really good for the new year. So I have the Six of Pentacles coming up first. And Six of Pentacles is a card that talks about sharing the wealth evenly. You see somebody here with a pair of scales making sure that they're giving to the people. In this particular card, he's giving all the money to one pauper and not the other, suggesting that maybe he isn't being fair with his resources, his money, his love, whatever. So this card sort of reminds us that we need to make sure that, you know, if we're putting out or we're giving to others, that we are getting something back in return. Now, I know some people say, oh, you shouldn't be like that. You should be able to give and be anonymous and not receive anything back. And I think that's really good too, but it's not something you should do all the time at your own risk. So if you're constantly putting into something and not getting anything in return, that's not a good thing. If you're occasionally throwing money into a charity box or occasionally giving money to the poor or whatever else, that's a very different thing. Maybe you feel comfortable just giving with that. But what this talks about is making sure you're receiving. So I always say, you know, even if it's a thank you, even if it's gratitude for what you've done, sometimes we just need to ensure that we're looking after ourselves in terms of that. What it often comes up for, especially in a love reading, is when you're in a relationship where you'll keep investing into the relationship and the other person is not giving back to you. And it's usually something we set up. Again, it's something I could talk for ages on, but when you're in a relationship, what you tend to do in the beginning stages of the relationship is hold back on a lot of things because you want the relationship to take off. So you may not express yourself, you may not ask for what you want, you may put up with things that we consider red flags, and you don't say anything. And then when the relationship doesn't go in your favor later on, you're like, what did I do wrong? I gave everything to that. I gave that person everything, which of course is not a good thing. And if you keep doing that, the relationship will turn toxic, the person will become disinterested in you, and that they will move on. So it's very much about understanding that equal give and take, being able to speak up for yourself, having healthy boundaries. That all comes through with that Six of Pentacles energy. All right, this is what you're learning in this lifetime. So for many of us, part of our journey is learning that. So I feel like, and I'm not being sexist in any way, shape or form, but I feel like women seem to have, for the most part, a raw deal with this. There is a sort of level in society that sort of the expectations are that the woman is much softer, more giving, and we've sort of worked with that reputation. I'm not saying men aren't like that, because I know men are, but what I'm saying is society has sort of placed women to be a little bit more tolerant of that sort of slight abuse. So the Justice card says to me, there is something here that you are working through in your own karma, and it is around something that I feel the World card, or there'll be a completion card behind this, because I feel like you're starting to understand that And like I say, sometimes with this whole idea of boundaries, I used to think it was a physical thing. You know, you can't do this to me, you can't do that to me, or these are the set limits. But of course, over time, I've realized that it's a lot to do with our empathic energy. We tend to sort of glorify the empath energy, which is great if it's being used wisely, but a lot of the time we almost abuse it ourselves because we don't understand where someone else's energy finishes and our energy begins. So I feel like this is something you're learning in this life. Interesting that I didn't get an ending, but I did get a new beginning, which sort of makes me feel here that again that you're coming to the close of something. So it may be in the last few weeks, months, or whatever, you've made a decision to be different, or to work differently with people, or to be more conscious of things, or like I say, be the observer in your own life, watching how other people behave and understanding how then to set that boundary. So there's a brand new beginning on offer here. And I feel like for many of you, this could be a love offer. That's the little Pisces card. So there is some sort of feeling here that I feel something that you've fantasized about, or something, there's the 10, something that you've dreamed about is coming your way. And whatever this is, this offer, this relationship, this situation, whatever it is for you, you've got to learn how to set your boundaries this time. You want to have a relationship that is equally as good to you as you are good to somebody else. You know, there was a saying the other day, and I'm constantly reading sayings and thinking, wow, that's just perfect for the moment. But there was a saying the other day that somebody said, why do you not expect yourself to be treated the same way you would treat your best friend? Because you are your best friend. But a lot of the time we see other people's value as more than ours. So we tend to treat them better than we do ourselves. Where it came to me was at one stage I was thinking of walking away from something. And I still do it a little bit, but I challenge myself on it, because the first place I would always go to is, how is it going to hurt them? How is it going to affect the other person? And I still have people saying that to me. I want to leave them, but I'm scared that they won't be able to manage without me. That is codependency, beautifully orchestrated for you. So if you are thinking about other people before yourself, then there is a trauma there that you need to heal. So if you're standing there saying, I can't leave this guy, he treats me really poorly, but I'm scared if I leave him, he won't manage without me, that is something you need to work on. That is not being a good person, because I got that once. Oh, I'm a good person. So I thought, well, okay, so you're implying that I'm not, but that's fine. I take that on the back. So here, to me, this is something new that's coming your way. But this time around, it happens in jobs too. It happens in jobs, you know, where you start to find you're getting used for things and used for things and used for things. And you thinking, well, if I leave this job, they'll never be able to do without me. What a load of hooey. They'll have you replaced within the first week. Probably the same as that person will if you dump them. So have a think about, because it's more about your attitude, your state of mind, how you are doing things. But I feel like here you're going to be offered something really good here, and I feel that you need to ensure that what you've learned you're going to put into practice. All right, so we have the Four of Pentacles coming through. Now, this guy is completely blocked off. He's completely blocked off from messages from above. He's completely blocked off from the universal energy. He is hanging tight to whatever he has. He's not grounded. He can't receive messages, and he has his heart blocked. So what I feel here is the universe is saying to you is, how much are you blocking yourself by having this approach to things? How are you stopping yourself from having a really healthy relationship or a healthy situation with someone if you're blocked? Now, we're not just talking romantic here. We're talking any sort of relationship, anything. You have that person that constantly lets you do things, constantly lets you buy things, pay for things, do favors for them, but never returns anything to you. You've got a problem. And I do hear this from people. It's part of that people-pleasing sort of attitude that we have, where we're taught that other people are more important than us. It's a bit sad, really, and I had a big dream about it last night. So I feel for many of you, you're coming to the end of a cycle, and you're going to be given an opportunity to restart, to, I almost want to say, sort of start your engine up again. So maybe you've got a little bit stuck. Maybe you're sort of meeting people, but the same things keep happening. And you look at it yourself. If you meet someone who's always agreeable with you, who always wants to do things for you, but never expects anything back from you, for someone healthy, there has to come a point where you're like, is this really a good relationship? Am I getting what I want from this? So a lot of the time it devours relationships. So you need to let go of this energy. All right, so we have, now I've got to remember where the point is that I need to sit them. The Four of Swords coming through with the beautiful Seven of Pentacles and the Judgment card. Now for some of you, and this has been coming up a little bit this week, and I don't think it's necessarily relationships coming around again. I feel like it's either love coming around again or an opportunity to do things differently again, rather than a same person. Although it can be for some of you somebody coming back in. But this time you're different. You know, sometimes when we get an opportunity to have a relationship with somebody that we've had a relationship with previously, you've grown and you understand how to set your boundaries differently. You can sort of slip and slide a little bit into the old way of being, but you sort of recognize that. As I said, you're the observer. You pull yourself out and you start looking at things differently. But we don't want to be compliant. We don't want to be the other person's servant or slave. And sooner or later down the track, you're going to get resentful. So somehow or another, I'm feeling that you've manifested an opportunity that perhaps has been around before, but it may not be exactly the same opportunity. It may be that you've got a new love offer, but you haven't been in love since the last person. So it may be a rebirth in love for you. But certainly feeling like here, this is about letting go and going inside and really working on that energy. All right, so we have the Page of Pentacles coming through with the Ten of Cups. See, that to me is a gift from the universe. That is the universe saying, you've worked really hard. I want to make sure that this time around you get what's right for you. This to me, this Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles energy is high vibrating energy. It's that energy of, I won't be treated that way again. And I'm going to do the best to understand what my part was in that and how I can make sure that doesn't happen again. Because some of these people we end up with are predators. They know how to seek out that energy from you, because you have this aura about you that you can't get rid of. Even when you start to toughen yourself up, that aura still stays the same, but you're a different person underneath that. All right, Eight of Pentacles coming through. So this is definitely about working on yourself to improve your situation, without any doubt whatsoever. It's like you're being offered something from the universe for the good work you've done. But this time around, you've got to make sure you make good use of it. Because you don't want to be in a situation where 5 minutes down the track, you're saying, I've done it again. I've done it again. I've put myself in exactly the same situation. I learned that with work, with jobs. Because I'd always left jobs because I felt so poorly treated. And of course I realized eventually that was me. That was me not speaking up or standing up for myself. You have this attitude that, and it's a lack mentality, that if you speak up, you're going to lose your job. But you look around at the people that you work with. Many of them speak up. Many of them don't do very much. Many of them get away with blue murder, but they don't get sacked. So why we think we'll get sacked for sticking up for ourselves is a little bit beyond normal, really. But it's our way of thinking. So we keep putting in. And I see people do it. I see people do it all the time. And they end up being really run ragged. And getting very little respect or appreciation. So if you apply that to a relationship, you can see why it happens in a relationship as well. But anyway, much deeper conversation. 7 of Wands coming through with the Queen of Wands there. Yeah, see, it's about loving yourself, respecting yourself, and moving away from these things. Now, for some of you, as I said, this is definitely about work, because I feel like you're moving to a new job, you have a new opportunity at work, but you don't want to go back to doing things the same way again. A really good way to do that, if you're unsure and you need to work out how to protect yourself, it's not about yelling and screaming and jumping up and down. It's about recognizing when somebody is starting that process of abuse. So it's always very subtle, whether it's in a relationship or whether it's at work. There are red flags, watch for them. You may find that somebody pushes you just an ounce just to see if you're going to break or not. And if they can push you an ounce, they're going to push you further and further and further. And some of these people will target you because of this beautiful, soft, giving, gentle energy you have. And we class that as being an empath. But we can be so easily taken for granted for having that energy. So you've got to recognize that early in the piece. Now, I've got to say to you, a lot of people will pick you at interview because they know you are easy pickings. So they may be attracted to you right from the get-go. Yes, it's really hard to not be vulnerable. You need to be yourself, absolutely 100%. But you also need to recognize where the process starts. What are your core beliefs about yourself? Look into your core beliefs. Look into who you think you are and those things that perhaps hang over your head that make you feel that you're not worthy or make you feel that you're less than. Start there. So what I'm seeing here is an opportunity for you where things are going to come back at you equally. So what you're putting in, you're getting back again. You know, some people see you as weak, and even when you strengthen yourself, even when you do the work, they will always see you as the weak link, always. Unfortunately, especially in families. They will never see the work you've put in. They don't want to. They want you to always be that person, and they will always treat you accordingly. And I did read a saying about that the other day too. I should collect them up and put them up here. I do post something on Facebook every day, but it was something to the effect of, no matter how much you change, the people you knew from the beginning will always see you as you were. And this is something to do with this karmic energy. This sort of, you know, when you look at these two cards, it's like bringing things back into balance in the universe, because there's a brand new beginning on offer here. And whatever it is something to do with manifestation of your dream, manifestation of what you want to have in your life. So it could be a dream job. It could be, because we've got Pentacles here, it could be about money. I'm looking behind and thinking that Three of Swords wants to poke its head out. So what you're doing in effect with that Three of Swords is looking at where you've come from and taking things from a new perspective. So I feel like here you're going to leave it behind. You're no longer going to hang on to the way you see things. You're going to see them differently. And like I always say, it's about being the observer. If you don't know about red flags, Google it. If you don't know about empathic energy, learn. Because there's nothing more dangerous than an informed empath. All right, let's have a look at an oracle of mystical moments. And we have lullaby coming out, which is quite interesting. I will sing a lullaby. Ah, Paul McCartney. This is about restoration, dreams. So restoration being your Judgment card, dreams being your Seven of Cups, rhythms. As dusk arrives, we notice a cello player about to play a lullaby to welcome the sleep we need so dearly. The cycles of day and night, light and dark, orchestrate our natural sleep rhythms. We give so much during the day, night is our time to recover. Are you seeing the Six of Pentacles energy here? On his instrument, we can see the moon and stars. They're all dichotomies, balances. They are the guardians of our dreams tonight. Rest with nature's lullaby blowing gently through the window. Tomorrow, wake to all the days of your life. the cycles of day and night, light and dark. So something about getting things back into balance, and that will help you move forward on your journey. So if you're not meeting the right person, or you're meeting people who aren't right for you, that is probably what you need to work on. All right, I'll leave you with that. Thank you.